It was a good time to finish up the bungs on this deck trim rail. It's 11 bungs per side. Just the usual thing. I milled them in my drill press, installed them with glue. And once the glue is dried, I'll chisel off the excess and sand these smooth. Get rid of any little places where some paint seeped through like this. And start varnishing. I didn't film the process, but I've masked off the white paint inside the boat now, following the lines I masked before. And the field areas are now ready for Nonskid. I've cleaned them. Everything's masked. And these foredeck / side deck areas. And everything's been cleaned with solvent and is ready for the first of 2 coats of Nonskid paint. And you're going to see that right now. So I've just applied the first of 2 rolled on coats of Nonskid paint in a beige color. It's 1 part pre-mixed Nonskid paint that I've used for many years and I like. It's not perfect, but it's a super cinch to apply. It looks good, works well, and it's very easy to renew if it needs to be. So I'll do 2 coats on all these surfaces, inside the boat and out. Can't go in there right now, obviously, but I'll stick you through the porthole opening in a minute. And then these foredeck sections. There's the little center section of the boat there. And then the larger bow area. Applied with a roller. It's very quick. And I've done this little foredeck area as well. But we'll let this cure overnight, and then I'll do a second coat just like this, and then it'll be done. Second coat, same as the first. If anything, the second coat goes even faster. It's very easy to cover. So I've just completed this second coat in about 30 minutes, start to finish. And we'll leave this to sit until I can remove the tape a little bit later. Well, I'll have to wait till I can walk on the interior before I remove it, so that'll be tomorrow. So we're all non-skidded. Looking good. And once I pull the tape, this will really look good. And then I can give this a couple days to cure up before I start walking on it again. And get some of the next steps of the boat taken care of. The Nonskid is done. Here's a quick walkthrough of the finished product. Foredeck areas. And then the quote interior. And forward part of the boat. And finally the cockpit. Looks good. And here's a look at the finished Nonskid from outside the boat. Here at the foredeck. And these forward side decks. And then over the top and into the boat. But there you have it. Paint is complete. This is the bow eye I'm going to be installing. Stainless steel, 1/2 inch diameter. And it's got a plate on the outside and a larger stainless steel backing plate for the inside. So the distance along the inside of the stem down to the bottom of the anchor well is about 22 inches on the inside here. So out here on the outside, to make sure that I install that above the floor, I've just measured down. The top of that tape is 21 inches from the stem to give me a fudge factor. I need to allow for the roller and the height of this in choosing where I put my bow eye on the boat. So these bunks are roughly 6 inches above the frame of the trailer. And right now the top of this winch lead is about 23 inches off the frame. Minus 6 means 17 inches. So roughly 17 inches up from the bottom of the boat is where that is going to land right now. If this was coming straight off the top of the winch, that roller is about 5 inches on center above that. Measured up from the flat bottom of the boat, 17 inches, which is where the winch strap is currently located. It is adjustable, but that's roughly where that is. And then 5 inches above to this line, which is where the roller is centered at the moment. This is the inside backing plate, and I've just given myself whatever that is, about 1.5 inches above the bottom of the anchor well. That's the bottom of the anchor well. And then with that as the bottom, just roughly marked the centers of the holes so that I can use this backing plate, which goes on the outside, to line up exactly where the holes need to go. I'll center it side to side and then drill these holes through the stem. And I think this is a good height. It's high enough without taking it too high up so that the roller ends up being a problem up here. I want plenty of room for that roller. This is the height of the strap, and it's a few inches higher than where it is now, which is okay. And then the roller will end up about up here, which is pretty good. That's about perfect. So this right here is where I want to install the bow eye. Started with like a, it's like a 5/16 or a little between 5/16 and 3/8 bit that I just pulled off my bench. But this way I make sure that I have it in the right place and the right angle before I go ahead with the big hole. It's pretty good, looks pretty centered. Can drill that out with the 1/2 inch bit next. Top hole looks good as well on the inside, so we'll drill it out to 1/2 inch. So I've got this bow eye dry fit, and my next task is going to be to cut around that plate and remove the tape. The tape will just give me a little protection when I put the sealant in. There's a little countersink in there so that there's room for extra sealant right where the fasteners go through. So this is the sealant I'm using right now just for this bow eye because it's the only thing I have on hand. I thought I ordered some sealant and I didn't, but I'm anxious to get this installed, and my supplier gave me this as a sample, so I might as well give it a try here. Bow eye completely installed, sealed in place, and inside I've cut off the excess bolt length. Before I did, I put another nut on and then backed that nut off, so hopefully these threads will accept something in the future if I want, like an eye screw or an eye ring rather. It was a bear to cut because I couldn't use my grinder, which is usually what I'd use with a cutoff wheel. It's just not enough space. It's only a couple inches wide. So I used the multi-tool, which did the job. And I wanted to install this now because I'm hoping I can use it to suspend the bow of the boat once I block it up to get it on the trailer. When I want to back the trailer under, I'm going to need it to be clear under the bow. So I'm hoping I can use my crane and suspend the boat briefly from that eye, and then I'll also need it to pull the boat onto the trailer. So this is the trailer I picked up, and this is how it came. Just sort of a stock adjustment on these bunks. So my immediate task is to adjust these bunks so that they're basically flat and parallel with the ground, because the bottom of this boat is completely flat, especially where it's going to be resting on these bunks. This forward set of bunks, they call them landing bunks. I will adjust those up hopefully so that they're level and flat as well, and even with the ones behind, but we'll see. Those are not necessarily meant for that sort of adjustment, but that's what I'm going to use them for. Now, the one measurement I don't have right at the moment is the width between the skiffeners on the bottom of the boat. So for right now, I'm going to focus on getting these level and parallel with the ground in all cases. And then later, when I can see the boat, I'll measure the spacing between those skiffeners on the bottom and see where I want these bunks to land exactly. These forward ones will end up on either side of the center line one. That's not going to be a problem. And those ones I'm not sure. So for now I'm not going to worry about that. I can adjust those later. But this is where we're starting from. It's a simple trailer, and these should be adjustable in every dimension. So that is my first job. First thing I'm doing is I'm lowering these bunks as much as I can. And there's some adjusting holes here. It's currently in the top hole, but my boat is so narrow it'll fit between these fenders, so I want to get it as low as I can. So on this side I've taken that bolt out of the top and moved this to the lower hole on both ends, and I'll tighten those up. I just clamped that level across the two aft bunks to act as a straight edge so that they're horizontal. Isn't necessarily level because the ground's not level, but they're even with each other, and that way I can tighten up the nuts underneath and I'll know that they're flat and even with each other. Well, it's starting to rain unexpectedly, but I got most of the major adjustments that I wanted to do done. I've got the main bunks, those two sets of bunks at the aft end. Those are now parallel with the ground, horizontal. And I've raised these forward bunks as high as they can go, at least at that location. They can move in and out, but the forward end is about level with the bunks back there. So when we get the boat lined up on this, we'll see how this all works out. I think I'm going to have to adjust the side-to-side attitude of these bunks. I'm not quite sure where they're going to land on the boat yet. I've got to measure that. And I moved these out a little, so hopefully the center line skiffener can go right through the middle. That's ideal. And I've got to figure out where my bow eye should go, and if I need to adjust the roller and the winch, that's no problem. That can go up and down and back and forth. So it's starting to rain pretty good. I just got this done in time. I was counting on a nice afternoon, but spring in Maine, this is what happens. More on this to come. So these outer skiffeners on the bottom of the boat are about 43 inches from outer edge to outer edge. And then there's this nice wide flat area, which is also the strongest part of the boat as we head out towards the chines and where it meets the side of the hull. So my plan is to set the bunks on the trailer so that they land outside of those skiffeners. So I'm going to set them 44 inches apart from inside to inside. So these bunks right now, from the inside edge to the inside edge, is about 41 and a half, 41 and a quarter. So I need to move them out a couple inches on each side. I've just made a mark 1 inch outside that bracket. They also mark where it is on the inside edge in each case. So I'm just going to undo these, loosen these bolts, and slide these brackets up till it hits this mark, forward and aft. So after an adjustment, I've got these so that they're 45 inches apart from the insides of the pads, or the bunks. It's a couple inches more on each side. I actually had to go a little further than I thought. I must have done the mental calculations wrong, which is no real surprise for me. But they're parallel to the center line of the trailer. It's the same here at the forward edge, 45 inches. So I need to lift the boat to about 29 inches off the ground in order to get this trailer underneath. So I've slowly and carefully raised this boat up and blocked it. I've got a strap on the bow eye that I can lift the bow a little. And I've got this about where I need it to be. It's a lot of blocks, it's a lot of back and forth. But I think with this strap, I can raise the bow up. The bow is actually higher than the trailer now. The stern, I think, is still a little bit low. But if I can get the bow safely on the trailer, it'll make all the difference. And I can think about winching it on and whatever. Let's see what we have for height here at the stern. 23 inches off the ground at the stern, which is a little bit lower than it needs to be, but I'm not super enthused about raising it more. The bow will go on the trailer now. Bow's 31, because I can easily lift it with that. I just don't want to lift it too much. That's why I've kept blocking underneath it. I don't want to rely on that any more than I have to. So let's give that a shot. So, success. Let's have a look at this. It's not perfect. It'll need a little messing around with. It is resting on the forward end of those bunks. I'd like to figure out a way to have it not be resting just on a point. Might need to add a piece in there. We'll figure that out. Probably going to put something up here to let this bow rest against up on this part of the trailer, because there's nothing there. And then back here, it's not resting on these aft bunks. It's all resting on the forward 2/3 of this bunk, the big long bunk. So I'd like to get the stern down, and that's something I can handle doing. I'm happy to have it on the trailer. That's pretty good. I'm going to get it outside and have a look here in a sec. This is not how I would want to transport it. But for right now, it's going to do while I figure out how to adjust this. Certainly don't want to take it off the trailer again, so we're going to adjust it in place, whatever we do. Spacing worked out pretty good. They land right outside the skiffeners on the bottom. That's just where I wanted those supports. So definitely some minor adjustments, but it's on. It's a start. I think raising this bow up on something, might need to buy some clamps and stuff and come up with something for the bow. I don't have it all set up here on the winch just right yet. I think I'm going to adjust that up a little bit. So I haven't cranked it right in yet. We're just going to leave it like this for the moment. It definitely bounces. I'd like to get the bow up a little and bring that stern down. I think that's kind of the key with this. So we're going to work on that. Overall, it wasn't too bad. It was a lot of stupid blocks to schlep around. So right now I'm going to move the boat out, clean the shop up underneath. It's a mess under the boat. We'll get a look at the boat out in the sun, and then I'll clean up all these blocks.